get comfortable. We gotta go through like makeup and shit. We gotta like do makeup.
Makeup.
Damn. Is that a gua sha?
Gua sha.
Actually,
Yeah.
it's the rock.
The jade one, man.
Damn.
The vibe. I got the gua sha. It's the jade roller. The gua sha's on deck. Though.
That's crazy.
Hey, I got a question for you, buddy. How you get your skin so good?
Bro, I just became like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you know, but they got this thing called facials.
Oh shit, for real? Bro, I've always wanted to get a facial.
Really?
Yes.
Bro, I'm scared of like my skin is like really sensitive, so I'm scared of like anything that like it touches, like I break out.
Yeah. No, you gotta get facials.
My mom always is like, Neo, you want a facial? And I'm
Really?
like, yes. And I'm like, yeah, maybe next time.
I'm talking about like nut. Like nut facials.
Not facials.
Yeah. Like that's what
Actually,
bro was like, where were you going with
that's what
that?
we were talking about.
Bro was like my mom.
Oh, you get facials like on you.
Bro was like my mom asked for like like what do you what like what? Hey yo.
I thought you were talking about actual.
He is. He's making a fucking joke, bro.
I'm not.
Okay, yeah, you have men nut on you.
I'm wild. No, I'm dead. Now listen, so this is what I do. My skin's not even clear, bro.
Yes, it is, bro.
I swear it's
Look
not
at mine
clear.
and then look at yours.
Bro, I
Bro,
can't look at mine right
mine and then look at yours.
now. Bro. Alright, deadass, here's what I do. Obviously, I cleanse it. I have dermatologists, like, approved, like, prescribed shit. But then my main thing, I use avocado oil now. Like, to just get that glow. And I use honey as an exfoliator.
Honey?
Yeah, honey. Honey is a good exfoliator. But, like, I gotta get consistent with it. I don't really be washing my face as I should. So I
For
get-
real. All my skincare routine it's just the CeraVe. Like I got the CeraVe foaming, and then I got the moisturizer.
Yeah.
I had like a serum.
Oh,
It
yeah.
doesn't work, bro.
Bro, yeah, I wash my face like 2 times a day.
Yeah, same. I do it
I
twice.
use Cetaphil, and then after that, I put serums. I use a toner and then hydrolonic acid, and then moisturizer. Get it.
Fucking hate acne. I've been getting acne since 5th grade. Like, I would get acne,
Yeah.
a big ass bump on my chin. That's how it started.
Me too.
I
Mine
just
would be
got
on
like
my
dots on
nose.
my chin.
Mine would be on
My nose too. I have acne scars on my nose. They were the worst. It's so embarrassing, bro.
Mine's the worst it's ever been. Like I used to have really clear skin,
Yeah.
but recently it's just gonna get so bad. I don't know
I
why.
used to use like CeraVe and the Cetaphil stuff when I was like younger. It wasn't working for me, bro. It just wasn't at all.
Yeah.
Like, acne is just so
And
bro.
expensive.
Expensive too.
So
Why is that shit so expensive? And nothing works.
Yes, bro.
I be looking at like those models that be like doing it for like those promotion and shit. I be like, I want my skin to look like hers.
Bro, she lying, bro.
She lying to me, bro. She lying to me. That shit, my shit don't look like that.
No, bro.
Nah, bro. So now that I got y'all where I want y'all and shit, like rubbing my hands, please, returning guests. First of all, let me do a little intro. Yo, hey, what's up, beloved? It's Jabril. To our one community, let me extend to my brothers and sisters. We are currently at a C2E2 Convention Comic-Con fucking get together. All the furries are here. All the people playing cosplay and shit. It's raw as hell. I love it. We just did a performance, and now I got my guys with me and my girl with me, and we vibing. Yo, introduce yourself, please, right here.
My name is Amy Lopez. I'm a junior.
Yeah.
No, my name is Neil Martin. I'm a senior,
Shit.
graduating.
They were on here before. What's funny is I think you're wearing the same exact
Yeah, I'm wearing the same jacket.
that you
Funny.
wore.
You know, I haven't worn this jacket. I literally don't think since. Like, I
Yeah.
barely wear this jacket.
No,
What are
he
the
actually
odds,
wears
bro?
that every day.
No, I don't. What are you
Then
talking about?
She just said you don't clean yourself. That's what she basically just said.
I wash my denim every use, bro.
Me
I don't
too.
know about
You're
you.
not supposed to. but
Yeah, I know you're not supposed to. I just feel dirty if I
Me too.
re-wear it.
Yeah.
Bro, I need new pants. I don't like these pants. I need new pants. I want to get new pants. Okay, so you're probably wondering, bro, I have a rip right here. Hey, yo, look at that. Hey, yo, I got.
Bro, you can edit it out.
What is
I'm gonna
this?
leave it in there. Bro, need to close his legs.
What is this podcast turning into?
Yo, bro, need to. All right,
Bro,
so
it's
look.
a freak cast.
So
Cast.
my freak cast is crazy. So I did a series kind of on commitment, and I had a few teachers make videos with me on that. So the next topic is there such thing as too young to be in a relationship?
You said too young?
Too young, yes. I want you to think about
Who
that.
wants to start here? Should I pick up the mic or it's gonna?
I think we're good. I think
Okay.
you just talk freely.
Well, personally, I had like obviously the middle school relationship.
Yeah.
It wasn't real. Like it's the type of thing where it's like chatting through emails. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that type of thing. I barely just had a phone. Like I think there is such a thing as too young. Definitely in my experience, like you're not in a relationship. You really don't have that connection. You can after like before you develop these complex emotions.
Yeah.
Like once you mature as a human and like physically as well. You know what I'm saying? Like your brain doesn't finish developing till much later
Yeah.
in your 20s. So when you're that young, it's just not. I don't think it's really healthy. Like you're setting these examples for your future self, how you want to conduct yourself in a relationship, but it's always awkward and it's always, not true when it's in the middle school. So that could like, lead to like future relationships feeling shaky. You know
What do you mean
I'm
by like you're setting examples? That's interesting. What do you mean by that?
saying? Like if you're in a middle school relationship, you obviously don't have that much freedom. You can't really talk as much. So I feel like in a way you're conditioning yourself to be like sort of distant in the future because you're just relying on like emails or stuff like that. Like you're just a middle schooler. You're like
Distant from what?
like from your partner. You still have a curfew. You still have all these like
A life. Like,
yeah, you still have a life. You got. I just don't think like. I think dating at least the youngest should be high school.
High school.
I
Yeah.
agree.
So, middle school relationships, though, those emotions that you felt with whoever you were with in middle school, are they valid?
Well, I mean, in my personal opinion, I wasn't in love. You know what I'm saying? I was only in one, but I'm saying like it felt like it was just like, oh, I find this person cute.
Yeah.
Like I find she's funny. Like it wasn't love. That's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't. I just don't think it could develop. I don't know one person who was in a middle school relationship that like has had it
That
steadily.
genuinely real, yeah.
You do?
Yeah. Matthew Perry.
You gotta blur that out, bro.
Oh yeah.
No
Man,
references.
you just exposed, bro.
Oh my.
Matthew Perry though.
What about you, Amy? Like, do you think there's such thing as too young?
I agree 100% with Neo because I feel like especially with like this generation and with social media, like there's so many kids on the internet who are like they portray like, oh, they see all these couples on the internet and they're like, those are the examples that we have set for like younger kids, and like these kids like they're like, oh, like these grown adults are doing this, like I should be doing that too.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like really negative because like you're like Neo was saying, like you still have a life, you still like you're still in like middle school. Like I feel like high school is like where you should start being like, oh, like it's a whole new world
Yeah.
where like these new feelings are like developing, and I feel like that's where you start to get an understanding of like you growing as a person and like growing with someone as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's funny that you bring that up because social media does have a huge impact
Yeah.
on kids, and I can vouch for that. I think that we do try to mimic what we see online in terms of what a relationship is
Yeah.
supposed to be. And even before social media, for us, it was movies.
Yeah.
You know, when we see things on movies.
Or our parents.
Or our parents, which is our like number one example on what a relationship is. I was talking to this girl actually, and I was asking her about her relationship, and she explained to me that it was difficult to show affection to her boyfriend. And I was like, well, what's the relationship with your mother? Like, what's your mother like? She said her mother's always been single for as long as she's known her own mother. So basically what that means is the girl has no example from her mother on what it's like to be a woman and show affection towards a
I
man.
agree. I come with like a similar background like that. Like
Yeah.
my parents and my family, like my mom has never been the most affectionate person ever, nor has my dad. Like a lot of people, their parents, like they're like, oh, like okay, goodbye, mom. Like I
Yeah.
love you, blah blah. Like I don't tell my parents that.
Same.
I have never told my mom or my dad that I love them, like ever. And like especially now, I've seen how it's like affected me growing up because all of like my friends like it's a struggle for me to say, oh, I love you, or like show that affection that I like and that they share. So it's like
That's so true. And I'll even, to bring up friends, I'll see some of my friends interact with their own family, and they'll be like, I love you to each other. And I'll be like, damn, like they could just
like,
say
that's
that.
cute.
So
Like that's so like
Yeah.
I want that.
exactly,
Yeah.
you know. But it's like, now I look at my family like,
Yeah.
I don't really have that. So it does like drift off into relationships, and so it's just funny how that kind of works. So, do you think that a high school could possibly also be too young to start a relationship? Because, I mean, obviously in middle school we would have never thought that deep in
Yeah.
terms of family-wise and how that affects us. We're just now starting to see it in high school. So, is it good to go straight into a relationship before dealing with that type of trauma, in a sense, in terms of affection? Like, wouldn't you want to learn how to be affectionate first?
You know, I feel like you get that experience.
Yeah.
You like it comes naturally. You start finding yourself like not 99% of relationships, like you aren't gonna marry or live forever with the first person you start dating. You know what I'm saying? So if you start dating in high school, you're learning about yourself. You're not just learning about that other person. You're learning about how you show love. You're learning about like you're talking about traumas, like how the traumas that you've experienced as a child like come back to you when you're loving someone, like when you're showing that love. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like in a way, you know, every relationship, like I guess it's not too young, it's just you're just getting experience. Like you shouldn't regret, like, you know, like
Obviously,
dating
there are
someone.
relationships like,
Yeah.
that you regret.
No, of
like,
course.
Like as a kid, like you know, like some people are setting examples by parents who have like really toxic households,
Yeah.
and they form these really toxic like relationships, especially when they're too young.
Yes.
Like there are terms where it's that, and then there are also terms where like, oh, this is good, like this is healing,
Yes.
Because I mean,
and I'm growing as a person.
yeah. Because also personally, like I got out of a relationship somewhat recently that was like, you know, it was sort of that example where it was very, very toxic, very just negative. It was a terrible experience altogether. But in a way, it's like I'm grateful that I learned,
Yeah.
like I learned that I have to have respect for myself to not, you know, let myself get treated that way, not let myself, you know, go for someone like that again. And like right now I'm in a happy relationship, and it's like because like you know,
Because
I've
of that
recognized my
experience,
standards,
yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
you know, I've gained self-respect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So, do you feel like maybe you were too young for that relationship at the time?
I think my youth affected my choice to actually pursue that person. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't mature enough to recognize the red flags, to recognize the toxicity. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Yeah.
So then, okay, well now I'm thinking, like, does age really matter at that point? Because at some point, whether you're 16 or 36, you're gonna have to be in a relationship and learn somehow, some way. Bro, put the mic on her foot. Yeah, let's take a little break.
I just wanted to drink.
Oh, you're good. Go. Hey, yo. Fucking furries. Anyway. Alright, back. So we're back. Neo needed a little water break. He was parched and shit. So, here's what I'm thinking. Maybe there is no too young because, like I said, at some point, you're gonna have to be in a relationship and you're gonna have to learn at some point. So it's like, would you rather learn that lesson at 16 or 26?
Definitely 16.
Yeah, 16,
You know,
like
'cause-
younger, yeah.
Then at 26, it's gonna hit you in the face, and you're gonna be, you know, you're gonna grow old, and it's like,
Like life's basically over at that
yeah, what?
point. Basically,
No,
bro.
basically, yeah. Like, almost at the point, like 10
Yeah.
years later, you're starting to not be able to have
Yeah,
kids. Like,
yeah.
Okay, well then put it like this though, because you say you'd rather learn it at 16,
Yeah.
but then people go through that shit at 16 and they're so young that they don't know how to manage it. That by the time they're 26, they're not even emotionally available anymore.
I think it's like on that like I don't know how to explain it. I feel like it all depends like coming down to like maturity and like
Yeah.
if you're really willing to like learn all this stuff at like such a young age, like go for it. And like if you want that, like yeah, go go for it. But if you're gonna do it at such a young age in such a dumb way and keep like continuing the cycle, like obviously you're gonna regret it. Like,
What do you mean by dumb way? Like, give me an example, like even a fake relationship.
like just making the same mistakes over and over and like going back to those red flags that like you're purposely like not seeing.
Yeah,
Like just repeating a cycle.
I feel like it's not so much of a thing as like you'll become emotionally unavailable if you're experiencing that relationship. It's more of like, sorry, that scared me. I thought someone was like, it's more of like you just get that experience.
Yo, there's hella people around us, bro. I'm getting anxiety. I'm about to start swinging.
Oh, jump in, bro.
I'm about to start fighting, bro.
Yeah, shit. But no, I in reality I just think like it's all helpful.
Yeah.
You know, you're not gonna just become a closed off person if you're in a toxic relationship. Like you're gonna grow from that.
Yeah.
I constantly speak like to people about like, oh, were they in a toxic relationship? And it's like, yeah, like you grew from that, and now like you recognize those faults in people.
So, I think most people, because I want to bring it back to that whole point of like having that example of parents, like how you don't really have that affection in the house, but you kind of want that shit outside of the house. I'm a victim of that. It's like I don't have certain affections in the home, but I crave it so much that I go outside and I search for it. So is it better to do that or to work within the home first? Because honestly,
Wait, sorry, repeat that. What'd you say?
is it better to when you lack affection at home, right?
Yeah.
And you go out and you search for it outside in different relationships or friendships, right? Is it better to start in the home instead and build up that affection and then go outside and do it, or start outside first? Because I'm the type who I didn't have that at home, so I went looking for it outside.
I'm also that type.
And I found it, but it went wrong though. It went completely wrong. You know?
Yeah.
So where do we go from there? Like how do you build affection?
I'm not really like I agree with that as well. Like personally for me, like it's more like with my dad. My dad just doesn't really show that much love, to me.
Yeah.
And like just like I don't want to say it's like bad or toxic or something like that, but he just never really says like I love you and stuff like that, and never really he's never affectionate. He doesn't hug. He doesn't ask me about like my day and stuff like that. And it's all of like if I ever bring it up or something like that, it's always like kind of the same answer where it's like, well, why don't you do it? But it's like he's the dad.
He should be the example.
But going back to your point, like I just think you should build that home relationship first, because once you're secure with that, then you're set. Then you can find security in others. Because if you find security in others, but constantly you have the dread of like not being secure at home, that's not gonna change. Like you could break up with somebody, but you can't break up with your parents. You know what I'm saying? You can move away and not contact them again. But you'll have that looming dreadfulness around you.
Yeah.
So that security with your parents and family is so important. So you need to build that security in relationships. I'm super secure with my mom. Like I tell my mom everything. She's so vulnerable with me, and she's such a wonderful woman. And I appreciate that so much because she taught me to be like open and respectful and kind and loving. Like she taught me to be caring, because I didn't really get that from my father. So she's always just the person I look up to for security. And I think that also resonates in relationships. Like, sometimes I do find myself like struggling to say like I love you or show affection, especially in public. When it's in public, I get like nervous, and I feel it's hard to show affection, or it's hard to show like I care. And I feel like that's just like modeled from my parents' relationship. So yeah, it's always important to build that parental bond. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I mean, you couldn't have worded it any better.
Yeah, that was
bro.
like really perfect.
Bro was like took it, bro. Bro, that shit hella heartfelt. I forgot we're here.
No, for real, bro.
I feel like everything just went black around me, and it was just you preaching.
I'm trying to be a therapist. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to build up that.
Hell yeah, bro.
Build up
That was dope as hell, bro. I respect that, and I completely agree, bro. It's like I always tell myself, I give to females what I wish I could have with my mother, and that's so like interesting to me. Like, You know what I'm saying? Like that relationship that I wish I had with her, I'm out here trying to throw it on to any girl that's like that I don't know, that's just willing to listen for 5 minutes, you know? And I find myself in toxic relationships all the time. And I know exactly why. I'm highly aware of it, but I think I've gotten so used to that type that that's my normal now.
Like, oh, this is what my standard. Like,
Yeah, that's
I'm
my
meant for this.
standard.
Yeah.
And I've grown accustomed to that.
Yeah.
And it's like the hardest thing I feel is trying to like break that apart.
Yeah.
Because it's a generational thing. My mother grew up without a father in her life. You know what I'm saying? And he was like abusive to my grandmother.
Yeah.
And so he has other kids and he would go see them. So my mother grew up in a sense of what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Like why doesn't my
Yeah.
dad want to like be in my life? You know, what's wrong with her? And so it's like she deals with that as well and never dealt with it. So now she has kids and now
she's
we're
putting it on you.
exactly.
That's the same with me too.
Yeah.
Like my mother, she moved out of my grandma's at 16. And she dropped out of high school and all of that, and she continued to build like these relationships and these talks with like my sisters have a different dad.
Yeah.
And I'm not like necessarily blaming that on my mom, but like that relationship from her parents and like that toxicity like really affected her forward on, and she puts that on her kids a lot. And like unfortunately, like some of us, like we don't have the ability to like kindle that relationship with our parents and like fix it. And personally I don't like I'll try being affectionate with my like mom and my dad, and it just feels so awkward to me. But I've thankfully had like I have a boyfriend right now, and like his family and like him himself has shown me that like, oh, like being this vulnerable to someone and being like affectionate has like showed me more that more from what I think I could have learned from my parents. So I feel like in some ways it's better to get it from someone else that you can't get, and you know you can't get it.
Yeah.
It shows you that void you never had.
Yeah.
I think with that whole thing is that it's better when it's established from the beginning.
Yes.
Like when you go so long without doing something, as far as like perfection, whenever you try to do it, it's like uncharted territory. So it's so unfamiliar to you with like family. But then obviously with your boyfriend, it's like as soon as you guys kind of met each other in a sense, it's like you were already on board of building that affection anyway. So I don't think it's that we're incapable of showing affection. It's just
Building a connection.
the connection has to be built. There's a foundation that needs to be built first. So I think a lot of people this is actually a great point. A lot of people go through their lives thinking that they can't like show affection, not realizing it's not that you can't show affection, it's just you need a ground zero.
Yeah.
You need to know where to start instead of like it's hard to just start out of nowhere with someone that you've never had that with. So how do you do that with parents then? It's like you just go straight into it, right?
It's hard.
It is hard. Like it's hard to just be like, yo, go up to your mother and be like, yo, I love you. As easy as that sounds, or even your father and go up to them and say that. Like yeah, you can do that, but first of all, the courage that it takes, and then if they're not even giving the response that you would want, if they say something that's just so like off to you, you're gonna shut down again. Like, so it's like, how do you handle that, bro?
Yeah. You know, I've sort of a vulnerable little story I had because I explained how I'm really close with my mom, and I tell her everything. And a few months ago, because you know my dad isn't really present with like he's present at home, like he's at home, but he's not really present with my activities or emotionally or just checking in on me like.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't think he's like ever like came in my room and like said like, oh, what are you doing, or like how are you doing? You know what I'm saying? He's never asked me like how I'm doing. And it's gotten to the point where I haven't talked like there's probably like 3 weeks where I actually haven't said a word to my dad. I'm not even kidding, like a single word. So it's like I told my mom about this and I decided like it's time to like, you know, try to reach out. And so I went up to my dad. It was more of my mom. She's like, go talk to your son right now. And he's like, you know, like reluctant, like, oh, what? And it's like, I broke down. I was crying. I was like, I honestly just don't think you like. I don't think you love me. Like I don't think. I just feel like you don't think. I don't think you love me. And it was like I was crying. I was like shedding all these just vulnerable emotions, and it was like it was like I want this connection, like I want it, but it starts with both of us, you know what I'm saying? And I struggle with being the first person to do that. Like I can't, it's like gotten to the point where it's like it's just me, like I can't go up to my dad and be like, hey, want to do something, like and I was just crying, breaking down, and it just really hurt me. And I was like, just the first thing he like responds with is like, why don't you do that? Why don't you go up to me? It's like that just felt like it was fucked up. It was like, that's not what you say. Like when your son tells you, I don't think you love me. Like I don't think you've loved me since I was like 5 years old. It's tough, and it got a little better, you know, for a week. I feel like, you know, he started asking me a bit, but just, you know, since then it's kind of the same. We haven't communicated. We don't communicate ever. It's hard.
I feel like you saying that like really opened my eyes, because like it's this like I'm in your dad's position and like you're in my dad's position. Like my dad, I feel like sometimes he actually tries to make the effort and talk to me. Like I'll go home like from walking to school and he'd be like, oh, like how's your day? And I'll just be like, fine, and like go in my room and like not say anything. And like my dad has gotten home drunk before. He's like, you know, my dad's a DJ, so he drinks a lot. And like he comes home and he cries to my mom like how we're not affectionate towards him, and I just feel like really bad. But like sometimes it's just like I feel like I'm unable to like make that connection because it's so hard of like because I've grown up that way. So it's like I don't know how to talk to you, and it's so hard for me to talk to you. Like I want you involved in my life, but it's also like I don't know how I can push myself to it.
And of course, like for real, like it's none of their faults, you know what I'm saying? It's always that generational thing. Like obviously not to spill any of my dad's like trauma, but it's just like he also, you know, grew up with like almost like no connection. He was isolated, and it was difficult. And so it's like it's just that thing of like it's just repeated, it's just repeated, and it's just repeated, you know. I had a question for you guys, like at least with my dad, like, you know how I explain, you know, I don't really get like I'm proud of you or I love you. It's like when you're told that by others, like I'm proud of you, or great job on this, do you like tend to like shut it down, or do you tend to like embrace it? You know what I'm saying? Like are you the type of person to like
I don't get told that, but I do get.
No, I'm saying just by anyone.
Oh shit! No, I don't get told that because we don't even get that far. The closest, like my mother, as far as that goes, like even my grandmother. My grandmother will say she's proud of me, and I know she means that because we have that affectionate relationship. But they'll try to like ask me about certain things. Like they ask me about this, I don't want to talk to them about it. Like I just won't even talk to them about it, or I like brush it off. Like, oh, it's nothing, you know? So we won't even get to that stage, you know?
No, I'm more along saying, no, I get that too, like, but I'm saying, like, from anyone, like, if one of your classmates tells you, like, oh, I'm proud of you, like, this is so cool, like, because of that relationship with your dad and you never got that, do you tend to embrace those words that people say to you, or, like,
no, with my father, I have a relationship with my father. It's like, okay, put it like this, when I do shows, right? People will come up to me and they'll say that, yo, you did so good, and I'll be like, yeah, thank you. You know, it feels weird, kind of though. But I'm trying to find like, what do you mean by that? Like your question, like can you explain your question?
How do you feel when, like, I think what you're trying to say is like, how do you feel? Like, do you believe it, or does your brain like tell you like, oh, like
that they're lying?
Yeah, like they're lying.
That they're lying?
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, we're sort of similar, like, because, you know, you know, you do a lot of stuff with music, right?
Yes.
You make songs, you're a producer.
Yes.
You know, I've started making music as well, and I've shown, you know, my close group of people, like, around me. And it's like, when I get that good job or you did great, it's always like, I always just shut it down to me. I'm like, oh, thank you. And like, no, it's so awkward because I never got that good job.
Yeah.
And, like the only person I got that from is my mom, and it's like every time I get that, it's like that void. It's like I'm just not comfortable with that. It makes me it makes me feel like uncomfortable because it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like that good job, that praise.
I feel like I also tend to shut it down. It's like, and I get like really emotional, and
Yeah.
that's like something that I hate. Like I hate being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like to me, being vulnerable is like, it feels like it's such like a negative thing when it's like, it's good to be vulnerable.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
And like when I hear, oh, I'm proud of you, or like I see you shine in this, and like you're doing so good, like keep this up. I'm like in the moment, I'm like, oh my God, that's so nice. Like I want to like, I just want to sit and like cry.
Cry about it.
Like because it's like this meant something to me, but it's like I don't know how to take it.
Yeah. I think honestly, like, I'm trying to think of moments where I've had like a person really just say, yo, you've been doing a great, just been doing great. I just can't think of it. Like, yeah, I have people say, yo, this was good, or that, and then like it'll be like that quick second, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, that's a hard one for me, because I honestly think in terms of music, right? I think that's just the music thing where you always gonna second guess yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
regardless of what it is. Like, even if you know you did good, you're always gonna have that thought in the back of your mind, like, yo, well, is there better? Is there more? I don't think necessarily with music, there was ever a moment for me where I was 100% sure that I did an excellent job. Like, so it's like, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to make that connection back to the family thing in terms of like affection and that validation, like a validation point. Like, does not getting validation from your family affect you receiving validation from others outside? And I think, yes, it does. You know what I'm saying? I honestly think that when you don't have a relationship with a parent, how you base yourself in the real world, you're gonna be very insecure about certain things. Like with girls without a father figure, they're going to throw themselves at guys because they need that type of guidance, or they're going to shut themselves down completely. So there is like a connection between validation. It's just you gotta try to figure out where that is in your life. And I think that's like a hard part. Have you found yours, Neil?
Have I found my
Like that space in your life where it's like, yo, this is how my father's relationship with me is affecting me outside of the home.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back to that point of like those early relationships and like finding yourself, finding the way your dad treated you, and like seeing that reflected in relationships.
Yeah.
Like right now, I think I'm at a point where it's like and it's not even just me, you know what I'm saying? Whenever you grow, if you're in a relationship, like a truly dedicated relationship, you should grow with your partner, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I find myself, at least right now, like growing with my partner in that aspect, because both me and my partner, we have, okay. My girlfriend, like, comes from a place, a home where it's like also, I'm not like putting myself down, but I'm saying hers is like pretty bad, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like she's learning to, get through her traumas as well. So we're learning together. It's like, and it's always like we're communicating that. We're communicating like what's going on with our parents, what's going on in our home life. And so we're growing together, and we both struggle with affection, and also like with other people, like there's other people like struggle with like being, it's hard to explain, but just like, affection in general, just
vulnerability.
Vulnerability, like being comfortable, like it's all growth. And so I feel myself like constantly growing with that. And it's gotten to a point where it's like, like I'm okay with these conversations with my girlfriend about like is this okay? Or is like, do you want me to do this differently? Or like, I think we need to work on this. Like, I think we need to get better at being together in this certain way, you know what I'm saying? Like, always those emotions.
I want to say something real quick, because you said it's kind of hard to explain. I want to make something very clear. It is hard to explain. It's it's supposed to be hard to explain when you don't normally open up about certain things like this. And so I just love the fact that we're like stuttering over our words and like hesitating. It's like, should I say this or should I say that? Like, you know, because it shows that we're trying to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like we're trying and we're being self-conscious now. And I think a lot of people they don't need to have conversations like this, but they deserve to have
Absolutely,
conversations
yes.
like this. Everyone deserves to have that moment of just opening up and just being like, damn, my relationship with my family or outside relationships that has been impacting me, you know? And it's a big thing. I want to talk about, I feel like you have something you want to say right
Yeah.
now. What do you want to say?
No, I was just gonna say like, you know, it's just a short thought, but like what you're saying about like it's healthy to have these conversations and like opening up. Like there's so many people I know, and you know so many people where it's
Yeah.
like they'll never have like these
Never.
vulnerable conversations. They're just gonna keep it bottled up
Yep.
forever, and it's like they can't. It's like their brain just won't let them. It's like reluctant. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
those people that just will never. They're never gonna have like.
They're not gonna. I
Like-
already have ideas in my head, bro.
Yes.
And it's sad.
It's sad.
And when you try to bring it up to them, they'll try to make
It's like
you
a-
feel silly.
Yeah, or like a joke.
They'll joke it
about
off.
it, like-
Yeah, bro. And that's like, you know, obviously they're like defensive
Way of
mechanism
coping, joking,
and way
yes.
of coping, exactly.
Yes.
You know, I think when you said about the whole like similar to the validation thing,
Yeah.
my father, since I was a kid, he's in prison. So it's like the relationship is even harder because I'm to a point where I want to prove to him that I can do this. And since I was a kid, he would always engrave in my head. He'll always ask me this question. He'll say, do you want to be good or great? He'll say that. So imagine like a young boy looking up to his father. His father is in a fucking cage, basically. He's calling him, asking him this question. Do you want to be good or great? For years, drilling it in his head. It's like you kind of grow up with this unfulfilled like void because you're always trying to choose greatness. It's like you're always getting asked this question. I want to be great. How the fuck do I know if I'm great yet though? So it's like I'll never stop chasing that. So when people ask me, like with, yo, you did a hell of a good job. You know, when people compliment me on certain things, it's like, yeah, I'll take that, but I'm always gonna be like, that's not enough.
Like in the back of your head, like, oh, I'm not there yet.
I'm not
Like,
there
I'm
yet,
not
no.
great.
Like, yeah, you could be like, yo, you did so good. Or like, dude, what you're doing is great. Like for the mental health thing, it's like,
Because
thank you.
that idea is like, you know, planted in you from such a young age.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, thank you, but I gotta be great.
Yeah.
Like you did so good, I didn't do great. Or if they say you did great, it's like, well, I don't see it yet. Like I gotta know like for a fact. And I think it's like I'm looking from him though.
Yeah.
Like, I need him to say it, and he hasn't said it. You know what I'm saying? So I do agree with you on that.
Yeah.
That whole like, I forgot exactly how you worded it, but you know what I mean.
That validation.
That validation, you know, it is real. It's very real. And I want to go all the way back to the affection part.
Yeah.
Our parents, this kid had told me in one of my podcasts, he was like, it's their first time too. It's their first time
Yes.
living too. And when he said that, it's so fucking true. My girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, she sent my mother a text. Mind you, I've never, like, in years, I haven't told my mother that I love her. So we just not have that, you know? A few years ago, sophomore year actually, my ex-girlfriend, she sent my mother a text saying, I love you. I didn't know she did that. My mother still doesn't know till this day that was my ex-girlfriend. But she responded to that message saying, thank you so much, basically.
She sent that off your phone?
Yeah, she took my phone and sent that. I didn't know she did that. And my mother responded saying, thank you so much, basically. I love you too. I needed that. I had an interview today and I was so nervous. But when you said that to me, I didn't even say that. And so she was like, when you said that to me, like it made me calm. Like it made me feel okay. And so it kind of eats at me because I know that my mother received something that wasn't from me, but she thought it was. So it shows how important it is to her that she gets that from me. And so it does hurt. It does fucking hurt to know that, yo, I still haven't actually said it to her. And that's one thing that I'll always remember from my girlfriend.
But seeing that happen, did it help you recognize, like, have you said it since, still?
I haven't said it since. She hasn't said it really. Like, she'll try to say it in like a random moment of like jokingness, but never in a an affectionate
Yeah.
way, you know. And that's fine because I know that it's there, but it's definitely something that still affects me. So that's that. That's that segment. I think we've expressed our emotions on that. You know, we just completely drifted. The original point or question was, is there such thing as too young to be in a relationship? Let's just settle on a yes or a no right now.
Come back to me.
What do you think?
You know, like a mix of both. You know.
You know,
You
There's
know.
no definitive answer.
Yeah,
there is no definitive answer,
I
and that's what I love.
no,
Yeah.
I don't think so. Like, I don't think it's too young.
I don't think so.
It's
either.
always growth. It's always you're learning.
Yeah.
And even if
Yeah.
you could always have that, you know, connection, you don't have to classify it as a relationship.
Yeah.
You don't have to say, oh, I dated this person. Like, same, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to do that. It's all personal.
Yeah.
Like, it's not too young. It's all experience.
Yeah,
you know what
especially
I'm
because
saying?
relationships start when you're first born.
Yeah.
Building that relationship with your parents, with your siblings,
Yeah.
and then going on to like love lives and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
You know-
I don't think you are ever too
Yeah, and the reason parents like are like, oh, you're too young, like you can't
Yeah.
date this woman. They're trying to protect you from like, you know, having that immature like, you know, relationship, having that immature, you know, just connection, like
That
not
trauma.
true, not true. Like,
They don't
love.
want you to get scarred.
Yes. Yes.
I agree. I do agree. And what I loved about this question is that I already knew there wasn't an answer for it. Because there is no answer.
There's no answer.
There is no answer to it. Which is why the conversation is so easily
Yeah.
movable. You know, it just keeps it going. It's all about how in tune are you with yourself and what's going on in your life. And if you realize that you're pretty in tune with yourself and what's going on with your life, I think that you can be in any relationship you want to, and you can take over the world.
Yeah.
And there you go, bro. All right. I have another one,
No, for sure.
Go for it, bro.
but I want to. I feel like this was just so good that
Hey,
this
hold
could
on,
be its
though.
this could be its
I
own
think
thing.
Jakey-
Let's take a break real
I
quick.
think
Yeah, we'll
Jakey
take
was
break.
That's gonna be it. We're gonna do another part, but we're gonna wrap this up here, okay? From the most serious to the simplest of issues, people, young people specifically, deal with these types of problems daily. We never know how what they're experiencing actually affects them mentally. However, it can affect us mentally, potentially moving us to hurt others and/or ourselves, even going so far as to commit suicide. So this is me leaving my door open for us to have a chance to talk, and I hope others will do the same and join us. Remember to go and inspire somebody beloved as we close. One community, one world. Be peaceful. #1world, y'all.
Hashtag
Yes,
one
sir.
world.
All right, bet.